It's another day, another week for us to look at trending news of the week. The continent ushered in the day following issues from election postponement and bomb blasts in Nigeria, South Africa's State of the Nation address to ongoing crisis in Somalia and Egypt. This is Africa This Week, and I am your guide, Veronica Onuchi. We start off the week with stories that generated talking points during the week. Stay with us. Now, the presidential candidate of Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressive Congress APC, Muhammadu Buhari, has asked for utmost restraint and calm by all Nigerians, especially the teeming supporters of the party, after the postponement of the 2015 general elections by 6 weeks. Buhari said he shared in the disappointment and frustration of the decision, which raised so many questions. But he implored Nigerians to remain resolute, rise above all provocations, and continue to trust in the entire democratic process and in INEC, which has been brought under so much pressure in the last few days. Now, Buhari said the rescheduled elections of March 28th and April 11th must be sacrosanct.
They said in their report that they are ready for the election on the 4th of this month, on the 14th of this month, and the 28th of this month. They said they were ready. But then the military wrote to them that they cannot guarantee their security or anybody's security. That's how INEC has been compromised. But again, it was absolutely clear to us that elections must be held 30 days at least before 29th of May. So this is the last card INEC and the government has. We don't know the type of government they want to bring, whether a military government or a civilian government.
Residents of Abuja, Nigeria's capital, expressed diverse views over the recent shift in dates of the general elections from February 14th to March 28th. They insist that elections must not only hold but be credible, adding that the handover date for a new administration must remain unchanged.
No matter the extent of INEC's preparedness, therefore, if the security of personnel, voters, election observers, and election materials cannot be guaranteed, the life of innocent young men and women, as well as prospects for free, fair, credible, and peaceful elections, would be greatly jeopardized. Consequently, the Commission has decided to reschedule the 2015 general elections thus. The national elections, i.e. Presidential and National Assembly, are now to hold on March 28, 2015. While the state elections, governorship and state assembly, are to hold on April 11, 2015.
The announcement that all had been expecting in Abuja since the National Council of States meeting on Thursday. When electoral regulatory body INEC began its consultation Saturday, some residents, sensing what was in the offing, had even led a protest to the gates of INEC headquarters against the shift in the date of the polls. Apparently, such demonstrations would have little bearing on consultations going on within and the final decisions reached. Professor Atahiru Jega hinges his decision on a written communication by military chiefs that the armed forces for the next 6 weeks will be concentrated on flushing out insurgents in the northeast and bringing the insurgency to an end. Abuja residents are not shocked by the announcement, but their views on it differ from outright condemnation to tacit support based on reasons given by INEC.
It's needless. Needless. Why I say so is the fact that naturally the police is expected to provide security for INEC, not the Nigerian army. And if the government had tackled the issue of insecurity headlong, when this issue came up, we won't be in this bigness that we are in. Now, the security agencies are saying we need 6 weeks to clear out the mess in the Northeast. How visible?
I believe if the 6 weeks extension is the only guarantee that we'll have a credible election in this country, I don't think I have anything against it. It's a right step by the commission. But what I think I should advise the commission is that they should not contemplate extending it after 6 weeks, because I think Nigerians are just managing to accept this one. After 6 weeks, they should endeavor to make sure they give us a credible election that everybody will be proud of.
Whatever their divergent views, residents are on the same page concerning May 29th, the handover date for a newly elected administration. This date, they insist, must not be shifted. Tai Amodu, TVC News, Abuja.
On Tuesday, business operators in Nigeria expressed fears over the economic implication of the postponed general elections in the country. They say the survival of businesses in the country hangs in the balance as a result of prevailing situation.
A lot of the foreign investors who are the major players in the economy, not being sure of direction of the election, had actually started pulling their money out of the market. Well, the stock market was reflective directly because it's a market that everybody plays, but that has actually also been playing in other sectors of the economy. Major multinationals have actually been holding down their investment in the Nigerian economy, and so that is what has been happening. And even development financial institutions have stopped lending and granting facility to Nigerian banks. It's because, one, oil is no longer sure. Two, the political economy is also not as stable, so it doesn't allow them to have a clear focus that can allow for which they can plan. And planning is very fundamental to investment. It's only maybe us here that we don't take planning as a major investment decision parameter. Over there, you want to be able to plan.
South Africa is faced with electricity crisis due to the inability of the state-operated power company Eskom to provide the country with about 95% of its electricity. Now, Eskom officials predict that the company may lose billions of dollars over the next 4 years. To prevent the huge loss, the government is planning to sell parts of the business. However, opposition lawmakers and labor unions have strongly opposed the move. Eskom controls the production, transmission and distribution of electric power in South Africa.
2 new very large power stations, Medupi and Kusile, are in the process of being built. But the construction of these stations has been postponed. The first station was due to start coming online in 2013 already. But we're still not seeing any electricity from it, and the latest forecast is that we're going to only start see commercial supply from Medupi in the 3rd quarter of this year. So the planning has been there, but unfortunately it hasn't worked out, and that's why we're sitting with the situation.
Mali's Prime Minister Modibo Keita has called for a swift restart of negotiations with rebels in Algiers. Attempts to reach an accord between Mali's government and the mostly Tuareg rebel movement MNLA demanding more autonomy in the country's north have been complicated by security on the ground and clashes with UN peacekeepers. Meanwhile, the MNLA threatened last month to pull out of peace talks and suspended coordination with the UN mission in Mali after 7 of its fighters were killed in an attack. And in Egypt, several people were wounded after suspected Islamist militants set off 5 bombs in Alexandria, the country's 2nd biggest city. 10 people were injured in 3 blasts near police stations in eastern Alexandria. 2 other bombs went off in the area, but there were no casualties. Frequent small-scale attacks, such as bombings in Alexandria, have strained Egypt's effort to project an image of stability after 4 years of turmoil triggered by the 2011 Arab Spring uprising.
كنا بعمل استمارة بطاقة جوه فواقفين طوابير كلنا وبعد كده هو راح يصور لي
We don't know who saw what or who threw what. We saw a bomb explode or I don't know what happened. I looked and I saw my daughter thrown on the ground and my husband. His leg was gone. I found that his leg had been cut off.
She was with her father when he went to make some photocopies. He was carrying her. An explosion took place and she flew over to the other side. We didn't know where she was. Then people brought her back and his leg was cut off. They put him in an ambulance and we looked for the girl and found her thrown on the ground. That's it. That's what happened.
Also on Wednesday, 10 Al-Shabaab militants were killed and others injured in a clash between African Union forces and the Al-Qaeda-affiliated militant group in southern Somalia's Barawi town. The killing was confirmed by Lower Shabella's Governor Abdulkadir Mohammed Norsidi. The fighting comes barely few hours after another deadly clash between government troops and a moderate Islamist group in Gurisel town, 400 kilometers north of the capital, Mogadishu. Barawi, which was considered the last stronghold of Al-Shabaab, fell into government control last year after a joint AU mission to Somalia, AMISOM, and Somalian National Army, SNA, assault dubbed the Indian Ocean Operation. Two remaining Al Jazeera journalists jailed in Egypt on charges of aiding a terrorist organization were freed on bail on Thursday, while the court said the case against them was still pending. Mohamed Fahmy, a naturalized Canadian who gave up his Egyptian citizenship, was released on a $32,000 bail. Baha Mohammed, who only has the Egyptian citizenship, was released without bail. Judge Hassan Farid said the next hearing in their case would be on February the 23rd. The case triggered an international outcry and has been cited by government critics as evidence that Cairo is rescinding freedoms gained after a 2011 uprising toppled autocrat Hosni Mubarak, allegations the government denies. Egyptian authorities accuse Qatar-based Al Jazeera of being a mouthpiece for the Muslim Brotherhood, but Al Jazeera have denied the allegations. A suicide bomber attacked the popular Biu main market, killing 5 people in Borno State, northeastern Nigeria. Scores of people, mostly women and children, were injured in the explosion and are receiving treatment at various hospitals in Biu town. According to eyewitnesses, the bomber came in a tricycle popularly called Keke Napep, and shortly afterwards, irate youth were busy searching all the marketplace for any hidden accomplice. A resident who claimed anonymity said they are not happy with the former governor Ali Sharif and blame him for the sudden insecurity in their domain since he was on his way to the southern part of Borno when the incident occurred. The town is, however, peaceful and normalcy seems to be coming to the area after the attack on the ancient town. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma was in the country's parliament. The chambers erupted with rousing applause for the lawmakers following his entrance. But the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, Julius Malema, was ordered to leave the chambers after disrupting President Jacob Zuma's State of the Nation speech. Speaker Baleka Mbete told Malema that it was not a question session before asking for his removal. President Zuma was interrupted with questions over alleged graft in a $23 million upgrade to his Nkandla home. However, cell phone signals was jammed inside the Parliament's National Assembly.
Any favor, and none of these people who are howling are doing me any favor. It is within my right to speak as a member of this House and remind you that it is incorrect of you to want to suggest that when the President speaks, you suspend the rules. The rules are not suspended, and the rules must apply even when the President speaks. And you have not answered the question of Dr. Vauda. Stop treating people as a group, treat them as individual members of this House and respond to them as individual members. The individual member that spoke, you explain, he sat down. The other one spoke, you explain, he sat down. When Vauda's turn comes, you say, I've responded to you, and you are insisting, and he was speaking for the first time. Stop treating people as a group. We're speaking as individual members. We want the president to answer a simple question: when is he paying the money as directed by the public protector? That's all we're asking.
South Africa's opposition leader Julius Malema there. Now, it was exactly 39 years ago on Friday that former head of state General Murtala Mohammed was killed in Lagos, the capital of Nigeria, when it occurred. At the young age of 37, General Mohammed became Nigeria's #1 citizen on July the 29th, 1975, but his regime ended abruptly upon his death on February the 13th, 1976. As a mark of his humility, low-profile lifestyle and fearlessness, General Mohammed, during his short tenure and throughout his days in office till his death, continued to be driven in an official black Mercedes-Benz saloon car and escorted only by an aide-de-camp, an orderly and a driver. Murtala Mohammed will continue to be remembered for his tough, dogged and fearless attributes which are claimed to have distinguished him. The UN Security Council has threatened new sanctions against Sudanese government officials and armed groups who attack civilians, target peacekeepers and impede efforts to end the 12-year conflict in Darfur. The Council made the threats in a resolution adopted unanimously and extends the mandate of the panel of experts monitoring the implementation of sanctions in Darfur until 12th of March. Several rebel groups have signed peace deals with the government, but Darfur's two main rebel factions, the Justice and Equality Movement and the Sudan Liberation Movement, have not. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador Samantha Power has accused Sudan of refusing to allow the UN investigate a mass rape in the North Darfur village of Tabit last year.
UN peacekeeping mission in Darfur attempted to investigate, but was systematically denied meaningful access. The one time the peacekeepers were permitted to reach Tabit, Sudanese military and intelligence officials refused to let them interview alleged rape victims in private, and in some cases recorded the interviews. To this day, the government of Sudan has shamefully denied the UN the ability to properly investigate this incident, despite this council's mandate for UNAMID to do precisely that. Yesterday, a report released by Human Rights Watch alleged that at least 221 women and girls were raped in an organized attack on Tabit over a period of 36 harrowing hours beginning on October 30th, 2014. According to the report, Sudanese soldiers went door to door, looting, beating, and raping inhabitants.
Those were not all the stories for the week, but they sure generated a buzz in the media world during the week. We're going to break, and Digging Deep will be next. Stay with us.